Hey guys, welcome back to Vegas D-Tech. We're on Tech Talk 22 tonight. We got a lot of ground to cover here, a lot of comments and so forth. Let's get going. Our first topic tonight, we're going to talk about our Apex, the Garrett Ace Apex modes, some SMF frequencies. You guys are going to be interested in seeing some of this. We're going to talk about some of the low-tech machines that people are still saying that they use, they love, and they don't want to give up. We want to talk about the debate between double D coils and concentric coils. And then at the very end, are you guys keeping your old detectors or are you guys going to sell them? So without further ado, let's get it rocking. I made a comment a little bit earlier. I think it might have been in Tech Talk 19 or something like that, where I said that the modes, when you switch through modes on the Apex, the modes do not have any benefit other than just the discrimination patterns. You guys feel me here? Does it make any sense? It made no sense to me, right? Like individual here by the name of Larry. Now listen guys, when I use your guys' comments here, I don't know if you want me to put your name on it. If you don't, half of the time I don't even know what your names are, because you guys have like kind of a, you have like your own moniker that you're using up there. It's not really your name, it's just something. But anyways, as I get to know you personally, if you guys are cool with, me shouting out your name, because I really appreciate when you guys give me this information, because like I said, I get the information, I collate it, and then I turn around and I try to share it with you guys, okay? So the Ace Apex, I said, I think in Tech Talk 19, that when I used it, it didn't feel like it was any different between modes. Whether it was in coin shooting mode or relic mode, beach mode, whatever, it didn't seem like anything changed in it. And Larry said that he talked to a tech at Garrett, and he dragged out a little information that indeed the different programs only changed the discrimination on the machine. Guys, that made no sense to me, man. It really didn't, because that just sounds like user banks to me. You know what I mean? I mean a user bank, where you just like, okay, when I'm coin shooting, I definitely don't want any iron. So I'm gonna notch out the first 5 bars of iron, and then I'm going to allow quarters, nickels, dimes, and pennies in, and half dollars. Everything else will get notched out. That'll be program 1. But to call it a coin shooting mode or relic mode or beach mode, normally what accompanies the discrimination is that a lot of these other modes, there's swing speed, recovery speed, power. Some of these other factors are actually tweaked inside the mode, so that when you actually switch into that mode, your detector acts differently in those modes. Vanquish did it. I noticed a big difference between being in relic mode and in coin shoot mode when I was using the Vanquish. But for some reason here, I didn't see that when I was using the Apex. Okay, and it's also said here that, and I believe, just like this individual here believes, that Garrett can actually fix this problem through software updates. I mean, the Apex, almost all these new machines have a USB port in the back that they can just put an updated there and actually implement that. To where now they can say, okay guys, when you guys actually flip through these modes, you are going to actually see behavioral differences in each mode other than just discrimination patterns being different. Okay? So we've clarified that, guys. If you guys are buying the Apex, the modes mean nothing. They're just user discrim patterns saving banks. Okay, guys? This is what I've found for now. If somebody else knows differently, please chime in. Please show me the site that you went to so that I can actually confirm, and give good information back to the people out here. Okay, now let's move on to the next one, guys. Next one, we're going to go with SMF frequencies. BJ wanted me to discuss frequencies. Now guys, this could be a 3-part series all alone discussing SMF frequencies, man, because it's very in-depth. Some of you guys are not really tech savvy. Let me adjust this thing right now, because I'm getting a lot of flashing in my eyes. Okay, a lot of you guys are not really wanting to know the tech. Tech savvy means I don't want to bore you with a bunch of information that's just blah 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 blah. Maybe you don't want to know about it. Some guys told me, why do we even need to know what is in the multi-frequency? Why do we even care? just as long as it works. I don't really want to know what the ingredients are in the secret sauce. And other people say, I do want to know what's in the secret sauce, because it's just like when you pay for premium fuel in your car, you want to know what the octane is. I mean, imagine you paying for premium fuel when you put it in your car, but then there's no number there to tell you what the octane is. It's just, don't worry, buddy, you're getting the best fuel. Yeah. I don't know if people are going to go for that, you know what I mean? They don't want the okie doke, and they don't want you to be giving them that placebo. And I don't want the placebo when I buy a simultaneous multi-frequency machine. If I'm shelling out the dollars to buy into your marketing, I want to know that my detector is actually doing what it is that your company is marketing to the public. That's what I want. Okay, guys? Do you feel me? If you feel me, comment, man. Share your thoughts on that. So anyways, I have this clip, okay? Now, this just came in hot off the press here just a few minutes ago from Mark. Okay, I just met Mark. And Mark gave me this clip that I want to share with you concerning, a gentleman. He plugged in the Knox 800 to an oscilloscope, and he brought up the frequencies, guys. He ran through all the individual frequencies, and then he plugged in the simultaneous multi-frequency, and you're going to actually see right here what it looks like, okay? Indeed, the detector is transmitting in multi-frequency, okay? But there's a caveat to this, and we'll discuss this at the end of the video. So here, stay tuned and watch this video clip real quick, and then we'll come right back.
Minelab Equinox 800 multi-frequency option. You can see the sine wave here of the oscilloscope. Here's picking out the most prominent frequency being displayed on the sine wave, and here's a graphical representation of the different frequencies being transmitted. Now, going to the 5 single frequency options with the Equinox 800, we have 5 kilohertz here, which the frequency meter is picking out 5. This is a sine wave, and here on the graph you see 5 kilohertz is the most prominent frequency. Now, going to 10 kilohertz, the frequency meter here again is indicating 10. Here's with the sine wave, and here on this graph the most prominent frequency is 10. 15 kilohertz, here again the frequency meter 15, and on the graph 15. Here's your sine wave. (20 kilohertz), frequency meter is showing 20. Here's the sine wave, and here again on the graph 20 is the most prominent frequency. Now, switching to 40 kilohertz, you'll notice here the sine wave is different shaped, and here on the graph we're showing 40. And now you might notice here on the frequency meter is not showing 40, and this is because of the noise cancel setting. On the Equinox 800 you have several settings that range from a -9 to a +9, and each one changes the transmit frequency of not only the multi-frequency option, but each individual option from 5 to 40. Noise cancel -1 gets you to your 40, which represents the fact that we do have 5 options: 5, 10, 15, 20, and 40. And then you also have the multi-frequency option, which transmits what we saw on the screen. Going back to multi-frequency again, you see the different type frequencies and the strength of each frequency in these graphs.
Alright guys, you guys watched that clip. I'm not sure that you understood it. Maybe you did, maybe you didn't. I didn't play the entire clip. I just played the small part right there in the front that showed you the simultaneous. And you know, if you guys want to hear more and want to know more about simultaneous multi-frequencies, we can actually make a tech talk that just exclusively talks about frequencies, because it's very deep. Okay, but the one thing that I want to say about that is I noticed on there that when he was talking about when the Nox was transmitting in multi-freq, the primary frequency, the strongest frequency, the primary frequency that it was using was like a 7.7 kilohertz, which basically it's it rounds down to a 7.5 kilohertz. Like, that is the dominant frequency, he said, and he showed on the oscilloscope that it is the dominant frequency. Many frequencies are going out, but the dominant frequency in multi-frequency was simultaneous multi-frequency. The dominant frequency was the 7.7. Did you guys catch that? Maybe you guys know more about this than me. I'm not professing to know everything, but I can tell you that the video at least opened your eyes to see more than you might. Knowing something is better than knowing nothing, and at least we're all starting from somewhere. Okay, now what I have researched about multi-frequency is this: it's not what's broadcast, it's not what's transmitted, but it's also what is transmitted, and then it hits a target, and then what is received. Okay, so what happens is a volley of frequencies go out, but as they go out, some of them die off and they decay. Before they even actually hit the target, they die off and decay. And the strongest frequency makes it to the target, actually hits it, and then processes that information back. Only a certain frequency, a dominant frequency, will do that based on different targets. Okay, so you may, for instance, if you're looking at BBS that has 17 frequencies, and you got FBS which transmits 28 frequencies. Okay, so something like BBS may transmit 17, but in actuality only 3 frequencies will actually make it back. So get it, 17 goes out, but 3 actually make it back to be processed into the control box, to which the control box processes a VDI and an audio tone assignment to you. Okay, now what about with the 28? Well, if 17 gives you 3, 28 would probably give you 4, maybe 5. So 17 frequencies go out, but 4 or maybe 5 actually make it back to you. All right, and you know, in the one that we saw in that oscilloscope, there 5 frequencies went out, but only one of them was the dominant frequency, which was 7.7. Okay, now guys, I know there's going to be people out there that are just Mr. Tech, Mr. this and that, and they're going to leave all kinds of crazy comments. I never said that I was some engineer. I am no engineer when it comes to this here. But some information is better than no information. And if you guys are going to leave a comment, please leave something, criticisms that are constructive. If we're doing something wrong, or if I'm doing something wrong, just say it eloquently and show me what's right. Point me in the right direction so that I can gather that intel, put it back on this paper here, and give it over here, because these are my friends and I want to give good information to my friends. Okay, so if you guys kind of understand what I'm saying, it's not what's transmitted, but actually what is received. Okay, and I have another individual here that was telling me that in his field, where he does welding, he says that they use what's called a PMI gun. Okay, this machine is used to identify what materials you have when it's pressed against the metal. So he takes this gun, when they press it against the metal, within 10 seconds it tells him exactly what the composition of that metal is. All right, and this is the kind of technology that I was very, very much hoping that we would have right now in this hobby, is that we would be able to use a detector to transmit and actually break down and tell us what the composition of the target is that we're looking at. Okay, some individuals here say they don't want that tech. They believe that if we have too much of a good thing, that everybody's going to get in on it. Everybody's going to go out and buy these machines, and then it's going to flood the market, saturate it. It's going to take the hunt out of the game, and then everybody's going to run out there and start digging up parks and permissions, tearing things up, and then eventually metal detecting will be off limits. Just like it is in the UK, it seems like you can never go anywhere publicly to metal detect. You got to actually go and find permissions and knock on people's doors to ask if you could actually detect, you know, wherever they're at, because you just can't go out and do this thing in public anymore. I mean, I'm happy that this is not a big thing in Las Vegas. Not many people have caught on to it. I'm like one of the only people that are out there doing it, and that's cool because it's more for me. And I know that the groundskeepers right now, they don't even pay attention to me. When I go out there, they don't see me as a threat. I don't step out of my car looking like I'm about to go out here and plant mines in your park. You know, I don't come out there with big old thick jackets with 3 or 4 detectors and a big spade shovel, knee pads, earphones, SWAT tactical belts, just looking like, man, if you come walking out onto a field and there's like a bunch of little kids playing soccer out there, and some dude steps out of his truck and he's wearing all this tactical combat gear to go metal detecting, dude, it makes people stare at you, man. And could have groundskeepers and police being called upon you too. All right. So anyways, moving out of that, double D versus concentric coils, man. Every detector that I have bought in the past 5 years all have come with double D coils. Does anybody out there understand why? If you guys could just comment in on why. It seems like the concentric coils are, in 2012, as I was picking up detectors back then, my Tesoro, my Fishers, my Technetics, they all came, even my early Minelabs that I was using, all came with concentric coils. And they found a lot of things, dude. They found a lot of things. You know what I mean? I mean, for real. I mean, a lot of my jewelry that I picked up early on was through the concentric coils. Then the double D coils started coming out. And when I saw the double D coil, I just liked the fact that the double D coil that I had were more of an elliptical shape. I liked the elliptical shape of the double D better. And then when it came to pinpointing, it made it a lot faster for me to pinpoint, being that the transmit and receive line is running north and south like that. Whereas when you're using a concentric coil, it's like a funnel. It's like think of a snow cone, right? Your transmit is going to be very big at the top, and then it starts to funnel down to a tip like a snow cone. Whereas a double D coil, it operates on a blade, and the transmit line and the receive line is this blade right here, you know. And as you're running over it's actually smacking through a target, and it's making that noise, bink, bink, bink. So it made pinpointing for me so much easier. And I believe also being able to maneuver through targets. The double D is a lot easier, you know. When you have like multiple little targets, you can actually maneuver the actual coil around those targets a lot easier than you could with a concentric. Because with a concentric, if you've got things close by, you're going to have multiple targets within the detect zone, and that could cause for erratic BDI. Whereas the double D, if you have multiple targets, you can actually isolate this and then go to 45 degrees around your target and start swinging this way and getting a different number, and then moving a little bit more and then swinging again. And just by moving into different areas across that target, you're going to get better and cleaner hits using a double D. So I don't know why the companies have chosen to go with double D over concentrics right now, but that seems to be the wave of the future. You guys tell me, share your thoughts. Do you like double Ds? It looks like if you want to buy a concentric coil, you're going to have to go buy it in the aftermarket. It is available, but you're going to have to go get a Nell or a Coil Tech or one of these other companies. Is it Coors? Something like that. Those are the only names that I actually know when it comes to that. Okay, and also, do you guys, when we close this thing up, do you guys miss your very first detector? Like, what was the one detector that you sold and you wish you could have bought back? You know, that you could just have on your wall and you could be like, hey man, that was the very start for me right there. Is that detector? That's how it all got started. And for me, if I could have one detector back, it would be my Fisher Excel ID Pro. All right. Now, at the time when I bought it, I didn't think nothing of it. But man, did that launch my entire hobby career into where it's at right now. And the little tones of that was my very first detector that had an actual display, and it had these little teeny, it looked like little teeny swatch watches that were in there for, like, it gave me a number over here for sensitivity, and this little teeny notch box over here, it was like 2 little LCD dials, man. And it just had some weird 8-bit like Mario Brother tones to it, and a goofy little box with, it had like flames on it or something like that. But man, I went out there and I remember all those days in the park, man. The cold winters, when the cold winters would come, you'd have boogers running down your nose, man, and your face is frozen, and you just can't wait to get home because you just want to get home and get a hot meal and a hot cocoa and kiss your wife and look at all the clad that you had for the evening and wash it in the sink and tumble it, you know. And it just brought back really great memories, man. And if I could ever buy my Excel ID Pro back from Fisher, that would be the one that I would want, just to have it up on the wall in my man cave and say that was the guy that started this channel. So guys, look, we're hitting 21 minutes right here. I gotta edit this. Guys, forgive me if you get these videos and they're not the greatest editing or whatever like that. Sometimes I'm just really in a crunch to get this stuff made up to get out to you, because I would like to get a tech talk done every day. That's like my goal. But sometimes, you know, I'm a waiter and I'm a waiter and a bartender here in Las Vegas. You know, hence the goofy hair. People have clowned me on my hair, said that your hair is absolutely ridiculous, but what can I do, man? You know, I'm in Vegas, man. I mean, it's just a hairstyle that I kind of adopted for the job that I do, you know, in dealing with people. And, you know, my hair is my personality, you know. I would like to think that I have a happy personality, and my hair is kind of like the personality that's on top of my head. So, anyways, guys, I'm going to cut this thing off right now. Thank you so much, guys, for giving me this here. If I had an hour to kill, hey, and speaking of that hour, I would like to eventually get live streams going, where I can start doing a live stream and then we can have people comment in and I can answer your questions on the fly. I'm working towards that. It is coming up in the near future. Dude, the channel is getting traction. This has been a dream that I've always wanted to be a vlogger. I needed a niche, and this is my niche. And I have so many friends out there, man, and you guys inspire me to keep doing this. Thank you so much for your kind words, your comments, your motivation. You guys love the tech talks. I love to do the tech talks, and more videos will keep coming. Thank you for coming in here, guys, spending time with me in the lounge. It's Joey. This is Vegas D-Tech. Thank you for making Tech Talk 22 possible, and I'm going to edit this, get this out to you, and I'll see you guys in the next video. You guys have a good night. Take it easy.